It's phenomenal. You look like the Tsar Bomba. Guess what the Tsar Bomba is? Yeah, it's the biggest bomb that's been detonated. It was done by Russia. And you see the incredible magnitude of that weapon. It's awe-inspiring. And why did they develop it? It developed it so that we could have free power. And we could bring civilization into a new golden era of abundance, right? We did it to kill people. And we should call things by their proper names. It makes matters so much simpler. The whole purpose of that technological development was to kill people. A lot of people. Not just a couple of people, but a couple 100,000 people, which means a lot of people. And it's funny because you see those scientists who developed it, and they're so like, chin scratching and frowning. It's like, what have we done? Exactly what you set out to do. You did exactly what you were trying to do. And then afterwards we can suddenly go, I can't believe that the politicians are the evil ones who did it. It wasn't me. Why did you eat the apple? It's the woman you gave me. Why did you drop the bomb? It wasn't us who dropped the bomb. We just developed it. They used it. Terrible people. Look at them. Yeah, but you knew what you were building. Well, what'd you expect them to do? Not build it? The food that we eat isn't real. It's plastic food. There's plastics in our food. The things that we drink, the water you drink is fluoridated. There's nothing that we take into us that's real. Your reality shows aren't real. Our entertainment is not real. The TikToks, if I candid TikToks, are not real. They're staged. Everything around us is fake. And we feel like we don't belong and that there's something terribly wrong. We can't put our finger on it. And we're going to ask ChatGPT, why does nothing feel real? And ChatGPT will tell you, don't worry, everything is fine. Go back to work, or give me your work. That way you can go back to entertainment. And we're like, okay. But there's still that itching thing inside of us that's telling us something is not right. For war. And who was it that we were going to use the bomb against? Nope. German, ourselves. We hate ourselves. Bunch of emos running around in the 40s. No, we were going to use it against Germany. We were going to use it against Germany. And then, Germany kind of, surrendered, and we were like, Japan. Yeah. At least the scientists who developed it said, well, like Einstein writes there and talks about this existential threat of Germany. And so the idea is that we were going to use against Germany. But then there was no guarantee that we were going to use against Germany. If you asked the scientists, they would have said, well, it would have been okay to use it against Germany, but not against Japan, not against Italy. Why not? Why not against Japan, but against Germany? And what was the difference? Really? I guess Japan started it. I guess Japan kind of opens up the door and teaches us a really important historical lesson that we can apply to our own lives. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. And once you start it, sometimes someone drops a nuke on you. Or two. Or three if we just had enough plutonium. Yeah. What was the point of the nuclear bomb? You said it already. To what? To win the war. How?
Making them surrender.
Why? Why would they surrender? Because are they just impressed by our technological advancement? Yeah.
Yeah, because they barely had anything to do about it. They didn't have the resources.
Let's call things by their proper names. Why did they surrender?
It was like a lot of people died.
They weren't strong enough.
Because a lot of people died. We dropped a bomb and wiped out 80,000 people in one bomb. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, 80,000. Yeah, that's a lot of... Yeah, that's more than 50,000.
That's like 59.
Yeah, and then we were like, we got two though. Why have them if you don't use them? And then drop another one, because we were like, surrender. They're like, well, we're gonna think about it. Well, think faster. Here's another one.
80,000 plus that, like, aftermath too?
Yeah, and there's one poor bastard who was at Hiroshima, and then he survived the bombing, and he was taken to a hospital in Nagasaki, and he survived that one too. Yeah, I don't want to be around that guy. But when you look at the actual destruction of it, it's quite phenomenal. When you hear that number, 80,000, we're like, that's a lot of people. That's like 2 Petcos at the beginning of the season. But then, but it's like all the Petcos in October. When you see though that each of those people who dies is a human being who had loves and had hates and had passions and everything, just like the rest of us. They had families, they had loved ones, they had friends. And sometimes all that's left of them is a silhouette of them. Have you seen those? Because the flash from the bomb is so incredible. The person was vaporized, but their shadow is still on the wall. Yeah. That's incredible, man. And each of those people was a human being and a person. And you see that number. Now, we can say what we did was monstrous. Yeah. I think ultimately it was 150,000 between the 2 bombings. So I guess here's the question, 150,000 people. What's the alternative? Do we invade the homeland and we go house to house and we fight, which we expected would have cost the lives of several 100,000 people to do? So does the bombing save lives? Does the bombing actually cost more lives? And it's a fact about human nature, someone probably had to use it. Because Russia was developing them as well. They stole the technology from us. If we didn't use it, in other words, we kind of want to see what happens when you. Well, what happens when you drop the bomb on a city? Now, once we know, it's easy for us to go, oh my God, I can't believe we did that, shit. But we wouldn't have known that until we did it. And who knows, maybe the dropping of those 2 bombs stops us from dropping more. Maybe it stops us from dropping the hydrogen bomb, which would have killed even more people. There's a website, by the way, you can go on, and you can type in like a location, like San Diego, and then you can do like model simulations. If one of those bombs was dropped on downtown right now, or was dropped on National City right now, you can pinpoint it where you want to go, how many people would be killed, where the fallout cloud would go based off of weather conditions, how many people it estimates would be killed over the course of the next few years from radiation sickness and all that. It's phenomenal. You look like the Tsar Bomba. Guess what the Tsar Bomba is? Yeah, it's the biggest bomb that's been detonated. It was done by Russia. And you see the incredible magnitude of that weapon. It's awe-inspiring. And why did they develop it? It developed it so that we could have free power and we could bring civilization into a new golden era of abundance, right? We did it to kill people. And we should call things by their proper names. It makes matters so much simpler. The whole purpose of that technological development was to kill people. A lot of people. Not just a couple of people, but a couple 100,000 people, which means a lot of people. And it's funny because you see those scientists who developed it, and they're so like, chin scratching and frowning. It's like, what have we done? Exactly what you set out to do. You did exactly what you were trying to do. And then afterwards we can sit and go, I can't believe that the politicians are the evil ones who did it. It wasn't me. Why did you eat the apple? It's the woman you gave me. Why did you drop the bomb? It wasn't us who dropped the bomb. We just developed it. They used it. Terrible people. Look at them. Yeah, but you knew what you were building. Well, what did you expect them to do? Not build it? They built the bomb because they wanted to kill people. And again, it's important for us to call things by their proper name. Now, it turns out that this nuclear technology that we developed, it does have some other purposes. We can use it for energy. We can use it in some medical fields, the medical applications, sorry. But its purpose was to kill. And you think about it, like, why would we develop a technology? Its whole purpose was for that. Think about what it is that we develop technology for and what it does. So, is there anything else that we build, that we develop, that is all but guaranteed to bring about our doom and destruction, but we are doing it anyway? Nothing you guys are doing, though. No. I think it's fun. Last Friday, at our department meeting for English department, we were brainstorming ways about how to deal with the immense problem that you guys are creating with AI and ChatGPT doing all your work for you, and thinking about, of course, what the implications are for you, Also, the equations are for college. And the solutions are pretty simple, as far as I'm concerned. We don't allow phones anymore, which we're supposed to not do it next year anyway. And all your work is done in class. I won't allow anything to go home. Your journals have to be turned in every day. You can't take your journals with you. They must be done in class. All work that we do is done by hand in class. It's a pretty simple solution to carry out. It's an annoying thing because then, of course, you have to have a method of collecting and distributing those things every day so that they don't go home and that they don't get brought in from outside, of course. But think about how much now effort has to be done to stop people from behaving in this ugly, destructive way. It's not just destructive to yourself, of course it is, but it's ugly and destructive towards humanity. You think about, in every transaction, you're either the product or you're the customer. Every single transaction in your life, you're either the product or you're the customer. How much do you guys pay for Google? Nothing. So are you the customer?
Yes.
Well, no, because you're not paying anything. Who is paying for it? You guys know how Google got set up, where it came from? Anybody ever hear of DARPA? Before I tell you about this, DARPA is a fantastic group, okay? Has all of our best interests at heart. It's operated in conjunction with the CIA, who also has all of our best interests at heart and does everything it can to protect us and keep the world safe, okay? Yeah, and our FBI agents will attest to this. Also, fantastic group of individuals working tirelessly to keep all of us safe. Right? DARPA is a group which has only about 220 employees, roughly. It controls tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars. I think their budget's over $200 billion every year. They're responsible for things like, you guys studied the Vietnam War a little bit?
Yep.
Agent Orange?
Oh.
That's DARPA. Yeah. GPS technology, though, also DARPA. The missiles that connect to GPS so we can drop a bomb through a window somewhere in the world, also DARPA. DARPA is responsible for the development of stealth technology, also a DARPA project. Oh, the use of psychedelic drugs for mind control, part of DARPA also. Think about all of the worst and some of the best things you could possibly imagine. DARPA funds that. And it's only a very small handful of people who are in charge of that whole budget. Google is a DARPA project. You don't have to take my word for it. The people who developed it, the two guys, it was their master's thesis over at Stanford. It's published. You can look at their master's thesis. They thank DARPA in their acknowledgments because DARPA funded it. Why? Because they did something that Yahoo couldn't do. They're able to make connections among people, so that when if you search for something, and I search for something, they're able to find these similarities. When y'all don't understand what it was like way back. We had to use Yahoo, and I would type in something like mountain climbing equipment. And then I would get a whole bunch of search results that were about mountains and about climbing ladders and like sports equipment. And then you'd have to cycle through and try to find the thing that you were looking for. It was still easier than going out, but but you had to go through a whole bunch of searches. Now, Google found a way to connect it so that you're looking for these three things: mountain climbing. And if you're looking for mountain climbing equipment, you're probably also interested in fill in the blank. So they were able to crack that code, figure out a way to make that happen. It's a long story, but that's the short of it. DARPA sees the value in this. If you're looking for mountain climbing equipment, sure. But you know who else likes to climb mountains? Terrorists. Now that's an exaggeration, but this is the point. They will say people who search for these kinds of things tend to have all of these things in common. People who run marathons, climb mountains, also do all this, and then they tailor your searches specifically for you. They also realize that bad guys will search for certain things as well. And by the way, it's not just like how to make a bomb. Where do I find explosives? How can I join Al-Qaeda? It isn't just that. It's things that most people would never even think about. People who are, for example, people who are inclined towards radicalism, they seem to like dates, the fruit. Why? I don't know, but it's true. people who eat dates, people who are inclined towards radical behavior, terrorists, eat dates a lot. It doesn't really matter what country you're in. They like dates more than the average person. How the hell would you possibly know this? And what could you possibly do with that information? What you can do with that information is what DARPA works on. So every little tiny thing that you search is examined to death to try to figure out what your patterns of behavior are. And because you're not paying for anything, that means you're the product. They're taking everything you put into Google. There's a reason I don't use Google Classrooms in here. Because everything you upload into Google goes into their databases and it goes through that process. And that means that your digital footprint is extremely deep and they know every little tiny thing about you. And everything that you upload into Google, Google Forms, Google Docs, Google Classroom, becomes property of Google. They own it. By uploading it, that's part of the terms of services. You agree that they now own that thing that you created. I create all of my own materials in here. I create all my own tests, all my own questions. Anything I put up on a Google Classroom now belongs to Google. It's theirs. And by the way, if I write it and you upload it, Google still owns it. But it's mine. I didn't upload it. And they're like, yeah, but it was uploaded. And that is part of the terms and services. No, it's mine though. I created it. Good luck suing Google to try to get that stuff taken down and taken off. People have tried. It takes decades. It's an incredibly long time and lots and lots of money and time. And by the time it comes off of there, it's already popped up somewhere else. Now start the process all over again. This is intentional. It's designed this way. And so now it becomes a question of what is the product? Well, what if you're not doing anything wrong? What do you have to worry about anyway? What do you care if you're not doing anything wrong? Like what if I don't know, I decide that, I don't know, I go into it's not illegal to go into Target, is it? Without a face mask, is it? Until it is. Until it is. In other words, until the behavior that you're engaging in is suddenly illegal. You guys see that video? You guys might have seen this. From back in the, I was telling you about it, back in the COVID days, there's a guy who's arrested. He's out surfing. The cops are waiting for him on the beach, calling him in. He comes in, and they tell him, yeah, this is a state park. All state parks are closed. So he's arrested, he's fined because he's surfing in the middle of the ocean because, COVID. He's by himself in the ocean, literally by himself in the ocean. But it's okay because, if he wasn't doing anything wrong, he wouldn't have been fined, right? Yeah. Dude, there's nothing wrong with getting together and protesting. Unless, of course, you're protesting the wrong cause, which we also saw happening during COVID. We were told that one kind of protest had to be broken up, people were arrested, fined because they gathered together. Other kinds of protests were encouraged. And if you think about it, actually it's better for COVID because it helps to limit it. 2 gatherings. For some reason, this one's dangerous because it promotes COVID, and this one is not dangerous, with no explanation. And most of us just shrug our shoulders and go, oh, that's just the way it is. Congratulations. DARPA. What are the things that we're intentionally walking into? Just like this. When you use AI, what do you think you're doing with it? You think it's just like, oh, cool, it can do a paper for me. Oh, cool, it can do this. Oh, cool, it can do my homework. Oh, cool. You're teaching it. How many of you guys are paying for ChatGPT? Yeah, so there are levels you can pay for it. And if you're not, and even if you are, you're teaching it. You're giving it all of your stuff, all of your ideas, all of your everything, and it's learning from you. It's replacing you right now as a writer. What do you think it's going to be replacing you for in the future? That you contributed to. You let it happen. You knew it was happening, and you're like, oh, but I really want to play this video game. Write my paper for me. Oh, but I really want to, sit around and stare at a screen and stare at some TikToks at this glowing box. Do my math homework for me. Oh, now I have all this free time. You will have lots of free time in the future. You will have lots of free time in the future. You will own nothing and you will be happy. You'll enjoy it. Well, what do you think we're all gearing towards? See Mark Zuckerberg over the week said that he envisions a future in which most of your friends are AI.
What the hell?
Yeah. Your therapist will be AI, your doctor will be AI. They'll appear to be real because you'll be in the metaverse. So they'll appear just like this, but your friends won't even be real. Your therapist won't be real. Your therapist will be an AI-generated algorithm doing everything for you. And these are the people, and I don't know if that sounds exciting to anybody in here. Some people, it has to be somebody in here who's like, yeah, because humanity sucks. That's who's building these things. The people who build the bomb say, we have to build this nuclear bomb. Why? Because humanity sucks and someone's going to use it. And we've been living every single person in this room right now, you have radiation in you. Your DNA is compromised because of the nuclear testing, because of the bombs, because of all of that stuff that was done decades before you were born. And it's impacting you today because people back then shrugged their shoulders and said, let's watch Mary Tyler Moore. Let's turn the television on. Let's just, who cares? What are you gonna do? Can't do anything about it. They, whoever they are in control. They're going to walk us towards this future. And then they keep paying their taxes into things that then are used to radiate all of our DNA. The food that we eat isn't real. It's plastic food. There's plastics in our food. The things that we drink, the water you drink is fluoridated. There's nothing that we take into us that's real. Your reality shows aren't real. Our entertainment is not real. The TikToks, if I can do TikToks, are not real. They're staged. Everything around us is fake. And we feel like we don't belong and that there's something terribly wrong. We can't put our finger on it. And we're gonna ask ChatGPT, why does nothing feel real? And ChatGPT will tell you, don't worry, everything is fine. Go back to work, or give me your work. That way you can go back to entertainment. And we're like, okay. But there's still that itching thing inside of us that's telling us something is not right. And then we come across somebody who's actually authentic, who's real. They scare the fuck out of us. First off, they say the word fuck, which ChatGPT is not supposed to do. And then they're dangerous, but they're right, but they're wrong, but they're right, but they don't understand, and then it creates all of this confusion. This is why we seek for something real and authentic. Drum machines don't have soul. This is why when we see a real drummer, we're like, oh. We see a real person playing a guitar. We see a real person doing something real. And all the while that we're seeking something real, you have people like Zuckerberg who are trying to create a reality that looks real, but is not. And we'll say, but, scratch our chins, if it's real to you, it's real, right? No, that's stupid. That's stupid. Why would we replace? Did God really say? Here's what it really means. Here's why he said that. There's nothing new under the sun. If it appears real, it's not real. Guess what it is? It's something that appears. You don't all of a sudden make that jump and go, take out the word appears and just put in real. No, that's that attempt to confuse you with language. And we march into it, help willingly. Do you think Zuckerberg is outsourcing his work to AI, to ChatGPT? Do you think the people who are creating ChatGPT use ChatGPT to create ChatGPT? No, they use their own brains. And it's those people with using their own brains that then create these things that control the rest of us. They create the atomic bomb and we shrug our shoulders. They create Agent Orange, we shrug our shoulders. They give us Google, we celebrate, we cheer, and we give them billions of dollars because they make our lives easier. We clap like seals. I can find my mountain climbing equipment really fast. Isn't there a sporting goods store down the street from you? Yeah, but they don't have as much as Amazon has. And then the sporting goods store goes away. And as we start to get older and we lean forward and we start to walk down the street and go, I remember when there was a sporting goods store here. I'm gonna go home. Put my goggles back on and try to remember a time when the sporting goods store was there. Eating bugs in your room. If you know, you know. And the whole time, science doesn't care. Science is not ethics. Why do we study? And by the way, anybody happen to know what is this? What do we call the umbrella? Anybody knows of like literature and philosophy, history? Anybody know what we call that? The humanities. There's two types of things you study in college: the humanities and science. And you're going to notice that as time goes on, they used to be under one. As time goes on, we separate them out now. If you go to UCLA, you've got North Campus and South Campus. One is for the nerds, the ones we don't like, who study the sciences. And then the other part is for all the cool people who do the humanities. And we all sit around, we scratch our chins, and we learn how to sit, we learn what people say, but we don't develop the courage to stand for it on our own. We don't internalize the ideas deeply enough that we can sit there and go, this is really, really bad. But I can it can do my homework for me faster, but it can help us do, yeah, but it's very, very bad for humanity. It's not about just you. And we teach it, and then we're gonna wake up one day, not me, but y'all, probably, be old enough to wake up one day and go, what the hell happened? Wait, there's no jobs? Why are there no jobs? Oh, wow, so then I just get like a little bit of money every month, enough to keep me alive, and I can do whatever I want to do and have all the free time in the world? What are you gonna do with it? You gonna write the great American novel? No. AI's already done that for you. You gonna make a painting? No, AI's done that for you. What meaning and purpose are we going to have once we get rid of the human part of humanities? Anybody ever think of it this way? Neither has science. It marches on blindly. It doesn't care. Without regard to the real welfare. Why is it that you ever stop and go, wait. Why did we develop any of this? Why did we make the washing machine? Why did we make the dryer? Why did we make the vacuum? Why did we make the power saw? Why did we make the drill? Why did we make any of this stuff? We made all of that to serve us. All of a sudden, the last few years, we're making ourselves serve it. We're putting ourselves in service of it. We're giving ourselves over, all of our information, everything about us, to Google, to these companies who care about you, right? Isn't that how we began? Because the CEOs and the corporations care deeply for you? Isn't that what you guys said? No, you said the exact opposite. They're greedy, they're selfish, out for themselves. And it's not just the CEOs. The difference between most of us and CEOs is that CEOs have jobs that allow them to play out that selfishness and that greed. And we're just mad because we're not the ones doing it. That's the state where we are right now. It's so funny, we get so angry about corporations and yet we profit from them. Reminds me of people who get pissed off about churches. All they want is your money while they then go to Starbucks. Because Starbucks cares about you. Starbucks does things for the community. Starbucks does a lot for us. But those churches, man, like the Catholic Church, oh, they rape kids, you know. What profession, by the way, has the highest rate of child abuse? Anybody know? Yeah, public school teachers. Particularly special ed, elementary and junior high. Females. Wait, that's not what we hear. That's what the data says. But don't worry about that. Priests, right? Yeah. Which, by the way, that's not the kind of competition you want to battle for first and second on, okay? So it's all bad. It's all bad. But you ever think about things this way? You know, didn't any of us ever learn that growing up? There's no such thing as a free lunch. It's weird. Some of you won't take a ride from a friend of yours. Some of you won't accept a gift. Some of you won't accept a donut out of a box from somebody because you were raised to think that everybody wants something in return. Nothing is free. Don't ever take anything from anybody because they're going to want something. And yet you feed your information to Google. That's weird. That's weird. You don't think they want something in return. Well, no, they're a corporation. Oh, fuck, the guys we hate. I've been doing this. Well, you know what? I've already been doing it. Might as well keep on. Yeah. It's the best time to plant a tree. 20 years ago. Second best time? Today. Some of you are thinking, I've outsmarted it. I use the incognito mode. By the way, part of the DARPA project for Google was to be able to identify you, even if you're using a different computer. Some of you think you're outsmarting it. I use a DSN, I use a different computer. They know. It's part of the project. That's the whole reason for it. You think terrorists sit there all day and use the same computer? That would be useless. So, no real care for the welfare of humans. No real care for the people it's supposed to be serving. Technology becomes the master. And if you know anything about that, you know about Ted Kaczynski. I think I talked about him already to you guys. Yeah. So, questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms? There's a red dot on my chest. Yeah.
What if I start
Oh,
using-
sorry, real quick. Happy Thursday.